Welcome to part 2 of the MetaTest Lab series on how to manually test your meta titles for SEO traffic and rankings growth. In part 1, we combined the opportunity analysis template with data from Google Search Console to discover and prioritize the top opportunities for title testing. In this video, we'll select one testing opportunity, and we'll walk through the actual testing and implementation process using the title test tracking log on the second tab of our Google Sheet. A link to download this sheet is also included in the description below this video. Let's dive in. To help demonstrate, I've selected the keyword, Virtual Travel Assistant, from the list of opportunities that I generated with QuoteGrab.com. The first thing we'll do is analyze the SERP result for our target keyword, so I'll go to Google and do a search for Virtual Travel Assistant. I can see that I'm ranking in position number 5 about halfway down the page. I'm also noticing that the top-ranking search result for this keyword uses the title, Virtual Travel Assistant, What is it? And how to become one. By contrast, our title only says, Virtual Travel Assistant, Make Your Life Easier. Perhaps if we optimize the title in a way that asks the question, what is a virtual travel assistant, we'll be able to improve our page's ranking position. This will be our test hypothesis. Alright, let's head back over to the title test tracking log. Remember, that's located in the second tab of the Google Sheet. The first column of the title test tracking log is the page URL column, so let's make sure that we have the correct page URL for this keyword. You can get this by searching Google for your target keyword, copying the URL of the page that's ranking, and then pasting the URL into cell A3 in the tracking log. Next, go ahead and enter the primary keyword for your test inside of cell B3. The third column is your status column. Right now the status of this test is, needs optimization, because we haven't optimized the test, as of yet. Next, enter the current page title in cell D3. Once again, you can copy the page title from Google, or you can grab the title from your web page and copy it into cell D3. So, let's copy our current title and paste it into our tracking sheet now. Column E is where you'll write your new title optimization or test variant. For now, let's leave that portion blank, and we'll come back to revisit it in a moment. Column F is your hypothesis column. This is where we'll write down the test hypothesis that we came up with earlier. When building a test hypothesis, I always use the following formula. Changing my title from X to Y will create Z result. For this test that we are about to run, the test hypothesis is changing our title from Virtual Travel Assistant, Make Your Life Easier, to the new title, What is a Virtual Travel Assistant and How to Find One, will increase our keyword ranking on the search query, Virtual Travel Assistant. Let's write this hypothesis in cell F3. Perfect. With the test hypothesis clarified, we'll go back to column E and write our new title variation in cell E3. At this point we have everything that we need to start the test. We have our test hypothesis. We have logged our original title. And we've written a new optimized title variation for the test. Now, it's time to set the new title variation live on the web page. The implementation of your new title variation depends on how you manage your titles and content within your website. You might be using a CMS like WordPress or Shopify. Or, you might be using a plugin like Rank Math. Or, you may even need the help of a developer to launch the new title for you. However, if you are using MetaTest Lab's title automation tool, implementation without code is even easier. Now, we'll go ahead and publish the new title on our page. As soon as the new title variation is live, it's also best practice to make a reindexation request in your Google Search Console account to speed up the time it takes Google to discover the change and update the index. It's possible to skip this step and just wait for Google to recrawl your page in its own timetable, but it's much better to reindex your page as soon as you launch the test. If you need help learning how to make an indexation request in Google Search Console, make sure to check out a separate tutorial. Once your page is reindexed, Google's machine learning algorithms will start to make adjustments and learn more about where to rank and display your page. Now let's go back to the title test tracking log. Notice that there's a checkbox in column G, where you can indicate whether or not you've made a reindexation request for the newly optimized page title. We'll check the box in G3 to indicate that we've submitted the reindexation request. The date that you resubmit the page on is considered the launch date for your test, so we'll also go ahead and write today's date in cell H3. Adding the launch date gives us a reference point for when the new title variation went live, so that we can compare before and after results. The recommended check date in column I tells you when to analyze your result. These cells automatically populate with a check date of 21 days after the Google Search Console index request date. That's because in most cases, it takes Google approximately 2 to 4 weeks before the algorithms settle on a slightly more stable position for your page. Before you take your 21-day break, there's one last thing you'll need to log. Scroll over to column L to log your current keyword ranking for the primary keyword. In this case, we are going to enter position 5 in cell L3. Implementation is complete. Change the status in column C from Needs Optimization to Submitted to GSC. I'm going to set a reminder for myself now to check this test again in approximately 21 days, and then I'll take a good long 21-day break while I let the test run. 21 days later, I'll go back to check my new ranking, and then I'll record my test results in the title test tracking log. Now, I'll scroll over to column J and enter my check date in cell J3. Cell K3 will automatically populate the duration of your test, based on the start date and the check date. Enter your new ranking in cell M3. Once you've done that, cell N3 will automatically detect how much keyword rankings moved, up or down. Columns O, P, and Q can be used to track the total number of clicks your page received for a specified time period before and after your title test implementation date. You can use Google Search Console or Google Analytics to get the clicks data for these columns. Lastly, use column R to indicate the overall test result as positive, negative, or neutral. Your testing notes, insights, or takeaways can be added to column S. That's everything. We've now completed the full process of manual title tag testing, including opportunity analysis, SERP analysis, hypothesis ideation, benchmarking, implementation, measuring, and results tracking. Try out a few more title tests of your own to see if you can make an impact in your own organic search strategy. Then, if you're ready to scale your title testing efforts to the next level, check out the MetaTest Lab title testing tool to execute even more SEO title tests at record-breaking speeds. It seems to me like you've got no excuses now. Get out there and start testing your own page titles like an SEO pro. Cheers!